She had plans. She was building a house for her children. My grandmother gave her a piece of land and she was building there for her children. It was like a mattress with which the hood, there and there below. She was well less than 50 centimeters away. She was there in a black bag. This person in an instant decided to change everything, decided to take away their mom, the children, decided to take us away, me and my daughter. He deviated from her and then buried her, as if her life was worth nothing.
In our country, gender violence remains an alarming and painful problem that claims thousands of lives each year. To give you an idea, in 2023 alone, more than 51,000 murders of women and girls were recorded in Mexico. A figure that reflects the magnitude of a crisis that affects all levels of our society. So today we will hear the story of Nancy Longoria, a mother whose life changed forever when her daughter, Irene Isabel Castillo Longoria's life was brutally interrupted at the hands of someone she trusted. A tragedy that, beyond the pain, also exposes the flaws of a system that often arrives late or simply does not arrive, which is most common, unfortunately.
Hello, my name is Nancy Longoria. I am the mother of Irene Isabel Castillo Longoria, who on February 8th in Jalisco, Nayarit, was a victim of femicide. She used to help me. I sell online. I dedicate myself to selling all kinds of products online, and she helped me. I'm a stylist that we were also planning to start something together. She has 2 children, 2 boys. One is 11 years old, and the other is 6. On February 8th, she knocks on my room door and tells me she's going out, that she'll be back in a while. In the afternoon, I tell her to take care and that God is with her as always. I say goodbye to my children. If she left, they deposit some money for me in the afternoon, take into account, and I get in touch with her. She answers the phone and tells me that she is almost about to come, but that she is having a problem with a person she had gone out with. This person named Carlos Raul, he met him on Facebook. Did they establish any kind of friendship? He also repairs screens or something similar, correct? On one occasion, he came here to my house. He came to fix a screen that she had bought for her child. I saw him like that just very quickly. Honestly, I didn't memorize his features or anything. That day, I tell you, going back to February 8th, she tells me, Mom, I'm having a problem with where I am, but they're coming to help me now, she told me. So I asked her, is everything okay? Can you please go and withdraw the money? I asked her, right? Then she said, yes, it's okay, don't worry. Around 3:45 post meridian, when she stopped responding, I then I don't know, felt something, right? I felt that something was not right. I kept insisting. She no longer answered me. The hours passed. I felt good, restless. I was already very anxious. Then suddenly I was 30 years old. I had just turned them. I was young. And suddenly she would go out there with a friend or something. But she always let me know, always kept me informed. So that made me be alert, right?
Even though Irene started answering her phone, there was something about her way of writing which didn't let Nancy be at peace, arousing suspicion about this entire situation.
The hours passed, the afternoon passed. I kept insisting. They started to answer their phone, but I saw that it wasn't her because I read that it wasn't the messages she was answering by the way of writing, right? I contacted the person who was supposed to help her, and they said no. She had told me everything was already sorted out. I went back. It's a person who supports them, so I told her. It's not that she's not okay because she hasn't come back. She doesn't answer me. That's how time passed, I tell you. I already told my partner, I'm very uneasy because Irene doesn't answer me. She's always in touch with me, always. They continue to pass the time like that. We would wait for dawn, and she used to go on weekends, sometimes to a village nearby here in Nayarit in Tepic, where we live, in Tepic, where she would suddenly go with a boy she sometimes went out with. He told me, you know what, I'm going to go look for her there so you can be at ease. So I told him, I'm sure she hasn't left there, right? From where she told me she was, she managed to send. The location was my partner. He goes to that town and tells me, you know what? No, she hasn't gone there. She's not there. So I already told my brother, and I have another daughter, also 25 years old, and they went. I had the kids. They moved to this person's house. This person comes out, the name Carlos comes out and asks, "Didn't she leave from here yesterday?" So I told my brother not to tell him that you are going. To ask about Irene, tell him her last known location was there and that you're there for her. It was a lie, but I told him that I'm sure she hasn't left there. My brother and my daughter arrive and they tell that person, then he takes a while. About 10 minutes later, his child, a little boy around 10 years old, comes out to greet them. He asks if she's there. My brother says they want to pick her up and asks to come in. No problem. They check the house with several rooms and a very large yard. My brother called to tell me Nancy and Irene were not there. I said there were several rooms, and he told me. He tells them, check the rooms, check under the bed, check, I don't know, in clothes, in any lumps they have, check if there's disturbed soil. I don't know. I told him. I just always felt that Irene is not okay. I was always sure of that. He tells me, brother, it's just that we've already checked. The yard is like that yard, which is like cement. If it wasn't dirt, actual dirt, he tells me there's nothing. I told my daughter to ask him, look him in the eyes, see what his reaction is, ask him about your sister, see if he doesn't have any scratches, something. I don't know if there was a fight between them. She tells me, no, mommy, he's normal. He's a gentleman, a normal person. So this, I remained calm. I told her no, they had already left. Then she tells me, when they left, they go to the corner. He doesn't see them. They stay there at the corner. Then he leaves later when they leave. He quickly leaves his house with the boy who came out to greet them, and they pass by there straight. And so he leaves. He hasn't returned to the house for a day. He leaves the house alone, open. I told my brother Edgar, crying, that I needed him to go back and look for my daughter Irene because I was sure she was there. She hasn't left from there, and what if she's not exactly in the rooms? I told them, don't look for her. Don't expect to see her sitting there. Look for her in a different way because she is there.
Like a kind of sixth sense. Nancy couldn't get the idea out of her head that Irene was still in the house where her last location was marked. Something inside her screamed that there was the answer. Even after her brother came to pick her up and found nothing suspicious, the unease did not disappear. It was a mix of anxiety, fear, and hunch that intertwined, making it impossible for her to ignore what she felt. For Nancy, that intuition was stronger than any superficial evidence.
Then my brother felt compassion, I believe, seeing me in that state that I was so sure and so upset. My brother comes back. He says, do you know what? He says the house is open and he already left. I told him, do you see? So if he didn't do anything, why are they leaving? Why are they getting out? Then I told him we have neighbors nearby who have cameras. Right across there is a chicken wings business. My brother asked if he can provide videos to help search for his missing niece. At the wings place, they inform him that their cameras are not working or functioning. But she tells him to go with another neighbor, that he is the one who provides them to her when she has any problem with her employees. My brother and my daughter go with this very kind person. He provides them with part of the videos at the time when it can be seen perfectly. My daughter's arrival time in an e-driver. To that address, you can see how she gets off. The person can be seen perfectly. Carlos, he says she left at 4 in the afternoon. We checked that time. The gentleman did us the favor of checking, and she does not leave either an hour before or an hour after. Isn't that right? So for me, well, these are contradictions that he starts to fall into, right? What I'm saying is, why does he lie? Why does he say that at one time, yes, it's not true? Irene, she is seen going in, but my daughter is never seen coming out. So I told him, and I asked the Lord if we could please go help them. If it's bothersome for him or if it's tedious to check minute by minute or hour after hour because somehow he must have gotten Irene out, or if someone else came in or not, because I never ruled out that she was there. I always knew that my daughter was there, that she hadn't left there. I always knew that she was not okay, that something had happened to her, something bad had happened to her. Are they still checking the videos? And well, no, indeed, she doesn't leave from there. We are going to, we file a complaint. I realized that the person she had asked for help tells me, no, she informed me that all was well and she was departing. He sends me the screenshot where she was telling him she was sending him the location too and telling him that everything was fine. When I realized that it wasn't her who was sending the messages, and I realized that when she sent it to him, the location was at 3:42 in the afternoon, but at the same minute she signals the location. So for me that was very strange. I said if someone wants you to find them fast, they won't stop sharing their location after just a minute. To me, it's as if they saw her sending a message or something and took her phone away. So I told her, you know what? I said, I believe someone noticed her sending the location, making it even more important now. Yes, I believe it is. I'm calm. That person did something to her. Then she told me, let me call. If she doesn't answer, I'm going to go to the address. But she really didn't listen to me, right? They left everything as is. I decided to take action and told her we would file a complaint. That was a Saturday around 4 in the afternoon. Later, we realized what had happened when he assaulted her. He was there all afternoon and night to do what he had already planned. Because for me, Pepe, Carlos Raul had everything planned. Yes, because it used to had the things with which he violated her, right? With which he hurt her, with which he used to go hide her body. So it wasn't like that, like it was a coincidence or like, oh, suddenly something got out of control and I found this and I defended myself with it, right? Or it helped me. From the moment he leaves, he tells her he'll be right back and return. He already went for the things that he had planned to do. It was a sledgehammer and some cables, black trash bags, which are the ones that the prosecutor's office found. With her body in his planter, he buried her in a planter inside his house. I tell you, went to the prosecutor's office. I gave her all the details, his location, the videos that we were already sure that he had not left, that he had lied about what he said, that she had left. The fact that for him to lie, for me, it said everything. Well, right? If I, from the beginning, because I had that connection with my daughter, always, just like I'm very intuitive, go more with them, just with my children. I always knew. I can't explain how I even saw them snatch the phone from her. Afterwards, I always saw her in a dark place. I felt her very scared all the time. I asked God to give my daughter another chance. Isn't it true that she would be okay and that, well, she would reconsider what sometimes matters and what doesn't, right? Like sometimes hanging out with friends and he sometimes doesn't dedicate the time, which should be something really important. So I asked God for my daughter to come back with her children to reassess what could have been about to happen to her. Deep down in my heart, I wanted for her to be okay, really. But, well, something told me that she wasn't. Let's go to the prosecutor's office. We give everything what we had videos, the name. The person who provided us the videos shared details that I saw, for example, the ones she mentioned. She finished the location as soon as she sent it in the same minute. All that to me seemed very strange. Yes, He looked too calm when he answered to my daughter and my brother. In fact, he was sending text messages saying yes because he said it is that. She told me Irene was my friend. She was very much my friend. I wouldn't dare to hurt her. So I said to her, but why do you speak of her in the past tense? I mean, she was my friend. It was true because she was acting as if she wasn't around anymore. Those little details mattered to me. He was sending messages asking if she had already appeared when he knew it couldn't be possible because he had her in the planter at his house, right? To me, it's like he's mocking us, her, or both. He knew she had a family, knew she had a mom who had children. When he came to see it on the screen, she told him not to worry if he couldn't, as she had to pick up her child from school. He always knew she wasn't alone. He always knew he didn't know she had children or that she didn't have a family. He always knew and premeditated things. In fact, I think he has knowledge in some kind of training because he knew exactly what to do. Let me explain so that she couldn't ask for help, so that she couldn't defend herself because she was. She was a bit short, but she was robust, so he wasn't of such a large build. It wouldn't have been so easy for him to subdue her. When we go to the prosecutor's office, we file the complaint ourselves. I told my brother, you know what? From the moment we arrived at the prosecutor's office, it was complete chaos. Yes, when they were taking the complaint among themselves, they couldn't agree on who was supposed to continue it, who wasn't. In front of us, it was uncomfortable. The truth was uncomfortable that they said we have to contact another department. It's not like we were just sitting there, right? They didn't have that compassion for a family that is looking for their loved one. So they misinterpreted the statement. The following day, they sent us to talk and declare again. But they took our statement on Sunday, and we filed the complaint on Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. Early in the morning, I told my brother, you know what? Please take me home, because I want to go in and see. I need to go into the house before he enters the prosecutor's office and we lose access. Carlos Raul never returned home. The house was open all the time. The door was open. We arrived, we went in. It was already getting dark. At night, I need glasses to see well. So I said, we'll see what we can see. You enter, and there's a hallway with 2 rooms. There's a large pile, a longer patio, a long hallway, and at the end, there are 2 more rooms. When we went in, I realized we entered the rooms illuminating with our phones. And he had in the bedrooms like some kind of wardrobes or furniture, something like that was there. A huge amount. Women's personal care products like perfumes, deodorants, and body creams in large quantities. It's not like when you have several tastes of certain scents that you like. 2, 3 were not too many. It's as if they were from many people. Wow, yes, I was moving things to see. I knew my daughter's makeup, her attics, everything she wore, because we shared that. Can you lend me that, Mom? Oh, really? I wanted to find a bracelet, a little detail I saw of her in the house, because I was certain she was there. So that when I moved those things, it seemed so strange to me. And at the same time, I don't know, I can't explain. I felt like my skin was peeling off. I don't know, I felt something strange. I didn't see things from her. We go to the other room. I saw in the pile there were black bags. We saw a sledgehammer that was there in the yard and a bar. And obviously we checked it. They didn't have any kind of liquid. They didn't have any kind of stains. We go to the rooms in the back. As soon as we entered, the first thing I saw in the yard was a large planter with a ladder leading to the roof. As if they had been doing work of some sort, like when they do masonry, so there was gravel, dirt, and so on. So when I saw the ladder, at the prosecutor's office, they asked my brother if the house has only one entrance and exit, or if it has separate entrance and exit. They say it's just one entrance and exit. Okay. When we arrived and I saw the stairs going from the planter to the roof, I told my brother, this is a crucial detail they omitted. Why? Because he can take something out through the stairs without it being seen from the door. So my brother, I don't know, didn't they pay attention to that? I really don't know. We go into the rooms, I look around and see nothing. No signs of a struggle, nothing. Everything looks seemingly perfect. We leave with the rooms behind and I head towards where the stairs are. I see a plastic and dirt, then loose, and I tell my partner, here, I see loose dirt. I told him to please look here now to see what's there. The quick one, they remove the plastic, but it's like when there's sand or something and you cover it with plastic so it doesn't get wet. I mean, then we immediately saw that it was that, so I told him, no, it's not here. We're leaving like this. Immediately to the gardener, and there was a part, it's as if it was like a piece of patio, for example. That's why it was like 3 by 3. But it's as if you had taken soil from somewhere and you don't know what to do with it and you put it there to fill in. Wow, it was there. I pressed on it with my foot. The soil looked very hard, as if it had been watered a lot. One part obviously looked like that. I rubbed it with my foot and it was very hard. But there was another part attached to the wall that I saw like when, well, it's looser, isn't it? The wall appeared as if it had been scraped, similar to when it's freshly watered and not fully hardened, and then gets scraped. When I scraped there with my foot, I told my brother, do you notice how it's really hard here? My foot didn't fit in one spot where I scraped, but it did elsewhere. I asked my partner to lend me the bar, and we buried it. Yes, the ground was loose, so then my brother told me He used it with the phone, and my daughter and him, my partner, started with the bar, and I bent down, and with my hands, I started to help him remove the earth. But it was very strange as we soon came across something with a very hard part, as if very little was given. I don't know, I can tell you. 30 centimeters maybe, and we were already touching something. So we said, no, well, it didn't make much sense here. Honestly, I couldn't see anymore. I couldn't see because I tell you, I need glasses. So when we were digging there in that part, there were things as if when he fixes cell phones or so, many pieces, right? Many pieces he found useful for soldering. So then my husband, when my partner, when he was helping me to dig, he pulls out a strip of something golden. Then she had just bought some sneakers the day before, black with gold, right? Then I felt my heart turn and I said, let me see, what is that? Then we looked closely and it was a part of the phones, a part that phones have. Then I said, let me see, I need to not miss any detail and I can't see any more. Let's go. They told him around 9. I think let's go. And tomorrow I told him we'll come back when it dawns. Before I used to say, before the prosecutor's office came to do their investigation, I told him because I am sure that there will be something here. In the planter, I had some iron drums like the ones there were before for trash in the big fields. Full of trash, full of trash. There was, for example, a cage with a rooster, of a rooster rather. Below is like the cage. And as if there was a blanket under the floor, there were some chairs. Sorry, buckets, many stacked, all stacked. All like that, covering the planter. I mean, like, for me it was. When I saw it, it gave the impression that it had been there for a long time, right? Something like a distractor. I felt it right away in the drums. I had to close, the bags because they were overflowing with trash. So I grabbed the first bags and told my brother. I saw clothes, not dirty clothes, not worn out, not like you would have thrown them away. Yes, for me, it's more like it was a filler. Yes, more so that something like that would happen, full of trash. And you thought that, well, not there, hopefully not there. I started hearing the drums then, but I couldn't see well anymore. So I said, my brother, I don't want to miss any detail because I know that I am the one who can notice if there is any little detail that my daughter may have brought of her belongings. We leave, we go out. I tell him we'll return tomorrow for this. I saw the cage. I tell you, everything was like when we tried the cage. Wow, everything was all wet. That part of the planter, as if they were watering, they had just watered everything. It was as if they had just watered and supposedly there was no one, right? I told her the person could enter through the roof ladder or here. Is hiding? I don't know because this was just watered. Wow, right? So he was supposedly gone since the day before. When I see that the part of the planter is watered, my partner, my husband, lifts the cage and touches the blanket, and the blanket. It was dry, so the buckets were very clean, but the wall of the planter was also chipped. So I said, let's see, this was not like this here. This is as if they first watered and then put this here on top, because if not, the buckets would be chipped. They would be, so everything was dry. So you understand me? I was telling them, you know what, we'll be back tomorrow. We leave the house. As soon as we were leaving, the prosecutor's office was arriving, right? So they told us that we couldn't go over there, that obviously they didn't realize that we had gone in. We said that we had taken another turn just to see if we knew anything with my daughter's neighbors. We were asking there with the neighbors, and then the guys from the prosecutor's office told us, do you know what? We will request videos from the street cameras bordering the avenues immediately. He said, sir, you guys just let us do our job, right? So that you don't obstruct us. When we left, I asked in front of the little rooms. I crossed right away to a business like a candy store. I greeted her good afternoon, and she replied, excuse me, we are searching for my daughter. She came here yesterday. She remains in the house, not leaving, communicating, or answering the phone. And well, we think or fear because something might have happened to her. The lady said they were closed the previous day as they were resting. I asked her, what could she tell me about the person? How did she know her neighbor? Well, right then, she tells me that he was a person who lived alone, likely because his family was not there. His father recently passed away, even though he is a problematic person, violent with addiction problems. He was like the problem, like the family's problem. You know, when they have a problematic relative. I told them that we would appreciate anything if they informed us, if they told us that we had asked and we had gotten some cameras. Half a block away on the corner is another store that the man from the cameras above told us. Look, I was about half a block from the house. He tells me, is it me? If she went down, my camera can't see her. But on the corner over there is a store that also has cameras. But if she went down, she will show up there. So we go to the store, we explain to the person. She schedules us for the next day to give us the recordings, saying she doesn't know how to handle it and her son will be there. We go again for the recordings. And no, sorry, a car passes by that looks a lot like the driver who had taken her. And my daughter assumes, oh, look, so they did come for her. So is it true that she left from here? And like that, they don't check anything else and they leave. They stick with me. They come with me. So when they were checking, because they passed us the recordings, checking calmly, they realized that no, that it wasn't the same car, right? It wasn't the same car then? So with that information, the prosecutor's office steps in, tells us not to get involved anymore, that they will keep us informed when we come home. I tell you all the time, I was calm all the time. I felt my heart tight all the time. I don't know. I felt that's all. It was just a matter of them finding her, right?
With numerous incriminating evidence, it appeared they would soon uncover information about her daughter's location. Every clue, every piece of information brought Nancy and her family closer to a truth they hoped wouldn't be final. However, later the news they feared most was confirmed. Irene had been found dead.
That day, Monday, one night, the news comes out because no one informs us, neither the prosecutor's office nor anyone. We find out through the news, well, that they were at that address and that they were examining a body that they referred to as a body, and that apparently it was the body of the young woman they were looking for, Irene Isabel. My sister-in-law comes, she informs me, and well, yes, when I see the house, I see me. I already knew she was there, the prosecutor's office inside, and I think he was there. He was there. He stops him. I believe he came back to get rid of the body. As my daughter was quite strong, he couldn't have removed her easily, carrying her or something like that. The place where he had her is where the drums I told you about were, and the stacked buckets. They were all there. Besides, under the things, she was. Like a mattress with a capo there, she was already there. Well, less than 50 centimeters away, she was there in a black bag, this. That they took care of leaving her and everything. And I think when they find him there, they ask him that they were looking for her. They go with the search warrant and enter. He already admits to killing her and burying her body in the planter at his house. As I tell you, they do their job, the prosecutor's office, they take her out, and they call us the next day to go there. I mean, with the DNA studies they do and all that, to be sure, right? That it was her, the tattoo she had, we gave all her description in the report. And yes, indeed, it was her. It was her. We were waiting 2 days. They took a while to deliver her due to paperwork. I don't know, I guess by assuming me. In the media reported that she was very beaten and apparently had signs of torture on her body. I had doubts, but my brother, not me, went to the morgue and saw, apparently in the medical report, that he strangled her. He strangled her with one of the cables that we had found there. He strangled her with one of the cables. She had very, very marked what he did to her here on the neck, on the part of the mouth, stomach, and body. It had a different coloration. It was much darker, like a bruise. His function letter said in strangulation by asphyxiation, secondary to a strong contusion on this part of the stomach with the mallet. Very strong blow to the pit of the stomach. That's why I'm certain he has some kind of knowledge there. He himself said he knew he had belonged to certain people, right? They worked and were in charge, like a certain cartel. That's what he said. I say that he had some training or has training because he knew well, right? He knew what to do. There, I tell you, he hits her. He hits her in the stomach. She couldn't scream as neighbors heard nothing. She didn't defend herself and had no scratches or injuries. So I said there's no other way he could have subdued her so easily. I think he hit her. She doubles over from lack of air, and that's when he applies pressure, which strangled her. Otherwise, I'm telling you, it wouldn't have been this easy. The mark is perfect. It's not, it seemed forced, as if the knots would come undone. No, no, it's not like you grabbed someone who was asleep. He didn't even seem to defend himself.
The blow was devastating. All hope crumbled in an instant and pain became a constant presence. The search ended, but the morning began. One filled with unanswered question and a thirst for justice that to this day remains unquenched. The main suspect in what happened to Irene had already been arrested. However, the search for justice was far from over. Irene's life was taken away in the most cruel way by someone she trusted, someone who, according to all indications, acted with premeditation and malice.
Is that person detained then? And 3 weeks ago on International Women's Day, we participated in the marches here with our shirts that we tried to make, where it says justice for Irene, where it said that we are not all here, that we were missing Irene. And so we went to the prosecutor's office in a march where I demanded to speak with the public ministry or the prosecutor so that my daughter would have justice, right? Would have justice. Because, well, she trusted that person. She trusted that person. That's why she wasn't on the defensive. My daughter was very distrustful. She didn't have her own friends. In fact, she would leave her house from work with her children. It wasn't like I'm going with one friend or then another. No, 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 because she knew that you can't trust people too much. This her, I'm sure she always felt she didn't feel threatened. Rather go, because if not, I know she would have left the house. Yes, do you understand me? She wouldn't have waited for that to happen, as she was very fearful. Yes, I mean, obviously she was afraid that something would happen to her, fear in that aspect, right? Her. I'm sure she didn't want to die. She had plans. She was building a house for her children. My grandmother gave her a piece of land and she was building there for her children because she wanted to go there with them. And she would tell them that when you grow up, you have your house. I lived here with me. And he had just bought a hair cutting machine a day before. He told me, Mom, I bought this machine. Is it okay? I told him it cuts very well, that his uncle already has it. I said, I'm going to get it. And he told me it cuts very well. So you can teach me, I'm going to learn with the boy, with the youngest one, so you can teach me how to cut hair. She already had plans of, she was a single mother raising her children alone without the presence of their fathers. She played the role of both mother and father to the children. This person in an instant decided to change everything, decided to take away their mother from the children, decided to take us away from the others, me and my daughter. He deviated from her and buried her as if she was worth nothing in his life, as if she didn't matter to anyone. Like, I don't know, that calmness he had to tell us that she had left, that he had to send messages and ask if she had shown up. I'm sure she wasn't his first victim, right? Can you see that in people's faces? Really? You don't have to be very smart or have any kind of studies to realize when a person is cold.
It's cold.
Sorry, with that coldness of knowing my daughter was a few meters away with him, when my brother was asking a few meters away with him, he had her buried. And he, with that coldness, invites them into his house to check and see there is nothing. I don't know if it's by mother's instinct or me. Upon entering the house, I instantly sensed a presence. in the drums, which were for trash. There, when I searched, sorry, I mean, at the bottom was her bag with her things, but we didn't get to the bottom because I tell you, I couldn't see anymore.
This was not an impulsive act, it was a calculated betrayal. And even though the legal process had begun for Irene's family, that was not enough. They not only demand justice in the courts, but also that their story is not forgotten. That Irene's case is not just another number in a statistic that hurts and grows every day.
I don't know. I don't know what really happened because I think he didn't want to confess afterwards. If there is not a confession as such, even though he has officially been linked to the process, he has been linked as Irene's murderer, there is not a confession as such. The first one said that he didn't want to kill her, but that they had argued and things had gotten like that. Like, I laughed. I said, how is it possible that he says he didn't want to kill her? A person who doesn't want to kill? You don't clean up, you don't get rid of a body. You don't lie, and you don't send a mocking message to ask. I don't know. He would have regretted it when suffocating him. He would have regretted it. He would have asked for help. I don't know. But he wouldn't have done what he did getting rid of her. When he returns it to the prosecutor's office and they find it, he was already there with more black bags. There was a knife. I don't know. I think maybe he wanted to get rid of her in another way. Yes, everything happened very quickly. Nearly everything was done just to get the prosecutor's office involved. And they, with their experience and their knowledge there, well, they reaffirmed what I had been suspecting all along. When we did, I tell you, marches, because they didn't tell us anything because, well, part of the prosecutor's office, there were negligences in the way in which. How did they bring us with her body to go here? How did they call us again to make statements about what we had already said? In that other statement that was made again, points were already missed. Like the one who sent us messages from him, like he was asking for her. Like he had already been here once at the house, revealing a screen. So he knew that she had a family and that she had children. He is in the prison here in Tepic, which is called Venustiano Carranza. He is interned. There, the public ministry told me, the person in charge, that in 6 months, his defense has 6 months to provide evidence. It's up to the prosecutor's office or public ministry to initiate their process. He is accused of aggravated femicide. Sorry, I just forgot the other crime. I told the public prosecutor I wanted to know that the crime of femicide has aggravating factors, right? For me, for example, it's that he knew her. The fact that he used his knowledge to hurt her, he knew she wouldn't have a chance to defend herself. The fact that he already had the items suggests it was premeditated, right? It's not like he suddenly got into a fight and decided to use them to hurt someone in the moment, correct? How are you going to defend yourself? How are you going to have a sledgehammer in your hand? How are you going to have an object like that? Or how are you going? He said it was going to be in self-defense. My daughter gave me 160, 155, I believe. Look, I believe that he was like obsessed, in love with her. I don't know. I am like that too. Suddenly we are like that, like very. Well, how do I explain? Yes. I mean, if something is not, it is not. If you understand me, I mean, you quickly put a stop in no. I mean, nothing else can happen here, or here it is not. I feel that maybe he already had like that. Like maybe she was snubbing him, that I don't know. Well, the truth, I don't know him. When my daughter tells me, Mom, this Carlos Raul is asking me, he is sending me messages. Has he appeared yet? I told my sister, what? He's sending you messages? She tells me, yes. Yesterday, he gave me his phone number and we took a picture. He told me not to send it. I told him, no, send it to me. And then we were at the prosecutor's office. She sends me the picture, which I immediately show to my partner, asking if he's the one who came to see the screen. She then tells me, I think so. I tell her, no, look closely. Is he the one who came to see the screen? Then she tells me, yes, I tell you, that day he came to see the screen. I hadn't seen him well, but my daughter, when she asked me for permission for someone to come to see, she asked me, can a friend who fixes screens come to see it, fix it? So I tell you, that could be one of the reasons, the one that already made him despise, the one that, no, not anymore. I don't know if he ever wanted to have a different kind of relationship with her. Yes, I don't know, but I can't find. I don't know what other. I don't know what other reason. What reason could he have had to violate her in that way? She had gone. She was having a beer. They had been having some beers. They were socializing, and for a while, because I think the night was about to come out. So it was during the day because it was early when he knocks on the door of my house. Sorry from the room to tell me that he is leaving, that he is going to order. A driver, he says to me, how do I look? So I tell her, yes, you look pretty. Where are you going? I'm going with a friend. And she tells me, I'm going to the market with a friend. She told me in a little while, I'm coming. Is that okay, daughter? She says, just let me know, or should I let you know? She tells me if I leave. When I tell you that she was going to the village, that she was going with the boy she was dating, will you let me know, please? I told her, yes, that's fine. She told me, then if I look good, silence. Do you look pretty? She didn't tell me she was going to Jalisco with someone. She was 30 years old. And it's not whether she would let me know or send me her location, but it wasn't so much like that specific if I didn't ask her, right? So I saw her normal when she left and everything. Apparently, she left with that person. They were having a drink. Things went wrong. Yes, some things didn't go well. They had a discussion, a problem, and this happened. But Pepe, I'll tell you, having a falling out with someone at a certain point, for whatever reason it was, I don't think it's enough to have a falling out with someone, to decide to kill them at that moment, to take their life, excuse me, to violate them. I believe this person had been planning it for a long time. They had it planned out. You can see it in his eyes. In the photo they sent me, he's calm, not even a drop of sweat on him. When they asked him about my daughter, he had it all under control, very controlled. That's what I'm telling you. Or for me, even though I have no way of showing it, for me, she wasn't his first victim. He has the look of a person who plans, of a person who knows what he is doing, of a person who already knows what he is going to do after that has happened. Because that was very quick. We are told he had practically almost all of Saturday night. He violated her approximately in the afternoon, at 4 in the afternoon, when she did not answer me. He had all afternoon, part of the night, to dig, to put her there. In other words, with all the tranquility, when my brother already shows up at the house to look for her, that's when he put her there. I think it was only temporarily because it was a planter, I tell you, less than 50 centimeters. I don't think he had planned to leave it there because obviously it was found very quickly, right? I think that was like the first thing to then, well, I don't know, get rid of her. There's another way of her body. Maybe if we hadn't acted so quickly with everything we provided to the prosecutor's office, we wouldn't have found it. Maybe, yes, really, he would have gotten away with it. In the same news, in the fields, those in the fields where his belongings were, all the way down, the same news. There's one that takes with a drone and you can see, and they themselves make the comment to say, if the person lives alone, what catches our attention is that there is a lot of women's clothing, a lot, right? So I tell you, I am sure that I am not the first victim. One for the perfumes and the things that I tell you I saw in his house, and another for the calm way. Someone who has just violated someone, taken someone's life for the first time. Pepe, you don't act that way, right? You don't act that way. You're not so calm all the time. It's as if they had asked him, how was your day today? And when they take his picture, they tell him, I'm going to take a picture of all of you, the person who was with my brother. I'm going to take a picture of all of you. To know that you don't have these problems, that you don't have a history, that there's no problem with you, and that you're really telling the truth. He takes the picture, turns around, and I'll provide it to you. He's very calm on his phone without a drop of sweat. Just a few meters away was my daughter's body. I held her knowing it was my brother and relatives who were searching for her. My brother convinced him to do it without any nervousness. He told me, Nancy, sister, he already told us that he has nothing to do with it, that she left. We already went over. There is no one. There are no signs in the house that they fought. There is nothing, my daughter tells me. The yard is cement with no disturbed soil or anything else. Yes, he says, he looks good, calm. He has no hidden agenda. He has nothing. I mean, he tells me that he didn't do it, that he didn't do anything to him. And it seems like, yes, that it was like that. I mean, nothing more. I was the one who, from the moment, I tell you, then I knew that that he had done something very ugly to Irene, that she had never left there. Always, always, always. I knew when we went to file the complaint that we were here at home. I sit on the bed and ask my partner, have they found Irene since they notified us? I told him I felt this way, though I didn't know how. Like arrest? I felt her scared all the time, very scared, and I felt like her. I felt it was a rest for her. I asked him if they had found her yet while sitting on the bed. It's going to be that they're going to let us know a little later. And at the same time, I felt like, well, in my heart about something because I was already going to be sure. Well, something had happened to her, hadn't it? We found out from the news about 2 or 3 hours later. Well, now, I was sure that yes, something had happened to my daughter. And then from there, everything I told you about the process of picking her up and all that. We couldn't, well, this. We held a wake for her one night. The next day we buried her. The casket had to be sealed. We couldn't say goodbye to her properly without seeing her. And that's because, well, it had been days, like her body had been there for several days. Having been in contact with the earth, the humidity accelerated her decomposition process in several parts. Besides, I didn't want anyone to see her, so we would remember her as she is, as she was. And right now we are just waiting. I want to trust rather because I'm really going to tell you the truth. I don't trust. I don't believe in justice. I don't believe in the prosecutor's office. I think they move everything to their liking, but I'm going to trust. I ask God for justice to be done, that Carlos Raul be punished exactly for what he has done to my daughter. Thank you. May she have justice because she had many plans. She had her whole life ahead of her. I am taking her children to therapy, to the psychologist, trying to get them therapy with the psychologist. Her 6-year-old son wakes up crying and screaming for his mom every day, haunted by nightmares. He says all the time to help him pray, to ask God to bring his mom back to him. Well, we try to figure out how we can make them understand or explain that this is not possible, that their mom is already in heaven, that God decided so, that at some point we will see her again, but for now it's not possible. Sometimes I don't know. I don't know what to tell them. I don't know what to answer them. The youngest child is the most affected because the other child, the oldest, my mom has helped to raise him in any way. He wasn't so attached to her, but the 6-year-old boy, well, they have always been together. They were together. He is the one who is that one who was feeling this more. Well, he is little. He was about to turn 6 years old. I hope, just hope, I say, and with all my heart, I trust in God. I ask God, I want justice. I don't want my daughter's case to be like this. Like just someone who killed someone, and that's it after so many years. No, 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 I want here, Pepe. Unfortunately, right now in Nayarit, so far this year, there is a list. Unfortunately, Irene tops it. She is the first on a list of femicides that have been occurring. On February 8th, she begins this list, and from that date to now, there have been 11 femicides. Here in Tepic, for several weeks, there were incidents, including 2 on the same day at almost the same time in different parts of the city and in municipalities. And I tell you, I mean, several have happened. Yes, many. Most of them abused by their partner. It's not possible that this keeps happening, Pepe. It's not possible that someone, just because of their madness, their demons, or whatever it is that makes you in the head, decides to take someone's life just like that. I believe that the authorities should impose stricter laws or punishments. More fair. Because imagine now, on top of everything, I don't know how much time they are going to give him. But worst of all, we now have to provide support. Because practically, he won't have to do anything to eat and have a roof to live under. Explaining myself will result in a penalty, but I don't care. I mean, this doesn't seem right to me. I don't know. It doesn't seem right. I want a punishment. I want a fair punishment. I know that nothing will bring Irene back, but I mean, I want my daughter to be calm, that she can finally rest, that she doesn't suffer anymore. I don't even know how much she could have done to him because there isn't a confession as such. But what I saw of that body like that, I'm sure, well, that she did suffer, that she realized when he was killing her, when she was losing her life. I know she realized it. I felt it. And I just want it not to be just another case, just not. I want it not to be that person really regrets, and that the mind having done this to her really. I don't know why she was my daughter, but she was very good with a noble heart. She didn't mess with anyone, She didn't hurt anyone. She didn't deserve to die that way, nor that he tried to get rid of her. In this way, if we hadn't moved, maybe we would never have found it. I have all those options in my mind, and it doesn't seem fair to me. Honestly, it doesn't seem fair, like that he mutilated us in that way as a family, that he left us like this, something I never thought could happen to our family. I have two children, one of them rides a motorcycle, and he's the one I'm always like this, with my soul on a thread, thinking that something was going to happen to him. I never imagined it from her because she didn't know about parties and wasn't exposing herself to anything like that. So I was the least I imagined that something was going to happen to her. Yes, it was something very, and less in that way, less in that way. I don't question God's decisions, but the way, I mean, I know he was maybe with the wrong person, wrong with the crazy one, that one who at the time, I don't know what he brought. What could he have had in mind, right? He has a file in the prosecutor's office. He has a record, a list, a trajectory. Sorry for the violence with the partners he has had. He is a very violent person who hits his women who have sued him. So it's not like, and right now he didn't return anything. He is something that he already brings, is something he already brings in me. That's why I wanted to talk to you. And I appreciate that you have taken the story and the case of my daughter, because I know that you are going to have a lot to do with it, so that her case is known more and so that it does not go unpunished, right? So it's not just like that, I tell you. She had her there for almost 3 days, buried in her planter. He was sending us messages asking about her and all that. I don't want it to be left aside like it's nothing. Yes, I think he has a cold mind. To do that, he does. To communicate with the family, to see how she was and everything, to see if she had appeared. And well, just that, just that. I want her to have justice, nothing more than to have justice, and for him to be condemned with whatever aggravating factors there may be.
Nancy tells us that so far she has not had the opportunity to confront the person responsible for what happened to her daughter. However, she firmly mentions that when that moment comes, she will not hesitate to confront him and throw in his face all the damage he has caused. For Nancy, it's not only about legal justice, but also confronting the person who ruined her life and her family's, and to make him feel the weight of her pain. Because beyond punishment, there is a truth that must be said face to face.
The hearings are just about to start because of this process linkage that happened when the hearing was held. The prosecutor's office did not notify us. No, we were not informed. I could not be present. I made it very clear because the prosecutor's office told me this when they were assisting us. Look, they told me when the hearing starts, sometimes the family does not want to be present or next to the person who hurt them. There is a room, they told me, a room as such, where there are screens, where you from there. I emphasized that I wanted to be present at the hearings all the time, contrary to any suggestions otherwise. To be on the lookout, I personally, for what was said or what happened, I found it very strange and got quite upset. In fact, I let the public administration know. Why hadn't they notified us? Why didn't anyone tell us? There are 3 phone numbers in the investigation folder, ours, my daughter's, my brother's, and mine, and none of us were notified. They told me it was because, well, they hadn't had much time to notify. Something happened to them around 7 post meridian the day before, but I'm not sure what exactly. They already had everything to present it. Well, yes, they already had the folder to link it to the process. And in the morning, I think around 11 was the hearing, which was very quick. So I told him, quickly, he could have located us. It's just that we called him and he didn't answer. There are 2 other numbers and an address, but I'm not sure about the details. We were not notified or present at the hearing. They're going to start soon, so they told us that in 5 or 6 months, they're going to start the hearings to see And then there, yes, I already told the lawyer, I hope that none are omitted. Well, right? I want to be personally present at all the hearings to keep track of how everything is going. I never wanted that we be excluded or anything. I have no problem being in front of him. None at all. Well, I don't know that I'll never forgive him. Never, never, never. I will never forgive him. He will always carry that burden. And I hope so. And I wish it with all my heart that what he did to my daughter torments him until the last day of his life. That even with the years they give him, is he going to pay or is he going to make up for the damage he is doing? What he did to his children, mainly to those children who he took away the opportunity to grow up with their mom, that their mom could carry out the plans she had with them. And that hopefully they're to be on a news program. I don't want to advocate for crime, but hopefully there are qualitative weapons that do a bit of justice for my daughter. Honestly, hopefully someone out there will make him understand that you can't just violate a person like that, or you can't just take someone's life like that. Because whatever sentence they give him, I tell you, it's nothing. Nothing can bring my daughter back or undo the damage the children have suffered. My mom, also my grandma, we have a grandma, that job is my grandma's when they found her. Everything has been very difficult and very hard. As a family, nothing like this had ever happened to us. Never. We never even imagined that something like this would happen to us. But I do want to be present. I do want to be present. I do want to look him in the eyes. I don't know. I want to ask them why he did that, why it could have been more valuable than his life. What did he do to him? To do that to my daughter, to do it to her in that way, to try to dispose of her body. Just as if she was worth nothing, like she was the waste of an animal, maybe having her buried there. I don't know how to ask her how she can, or if she can keep living and sleeping. And just like that, I tell you, I'm sure she's not his first victim, even though I have no way of proving it. I'm certain she's not his first victim. Pepe Kasi, well, I believe that's something that isn't going to achieve so easy this, but something that could lessen a bit of what is felt. What Carlos Saul did to us, well, only that he has a dignified sentence, a fair sentence. I don't want less than 60, 70 years for this person. I know there are aggravating factors that are enough to perhaps even reach a higher sentence. My prosecutor's office told me that the two sentences combined could reach about 75 years, roughly 70 years total. I insist on not accepting anything less than what I demand. Especially if Carlos Raul is sentenced to less than 70 years, I'm going to appeal and I'm going to seek other types of instances. But I don't want that wretch for good behavior because there are corrupt lawyers, because there are people, government officials who are corrupt. We all know that perfectly well. We know it, unfortunately. Unfortunately, it's not the police. Unfortunately, there's a lot of corruption. I clarify that there are good ones, there are good people, but unfortunately, and it's a fact, there are more bad and more corrupt than good. But I hope we get the good ones, those who want to do justice, those who have sisters, who have a daughter, who have, I don't know, a woman in their life, and they see that this kind of people truly don't deserve. Imagine he did that to my daughter, and what will be his punishment? How many years in jail? 30, 40, 50, 60. How many and what? And that what? That's not going to bring my daughter back. He's not going to have to do anything to have a plate of food. He's not going to have to do anything. He won't get wet when it rains, as he'll be there. I don't believe there will be any punishment. That's what I say. With this, I have peace and I am already calm. Well, that is going to be something that will never happen. Because I start to think about what could have gone through my daughter's mind that day when she realized that he was going to get rid of her body, when she realized that he was taking her life. When he was strangling her, I told her how hard it was. It takes about 4 minutes for your body to react. but 1 minute, 2 minutes of being conscious. So she realized when he was taking her life away, what she suffered before, that which I, seeing her, identifying her as an experience I wouldn't wish on any mother, truly. I I saw her, and obviously she was no longer my daughter. She was already in another heart. She had damage from the day she had been like that. That is very hard for me. That's very strong. I try to act strong because that's what's needed right now. I can't show or be weak right now because, well, because I'm the oldest. With something like this, me, I need to be like this to seek justice for my daughter, for her children. And I believe that peace, that's something I ask God for a lot, but honestly, I don't think that will happen. I talk to her every day, every day. I cry, obviously, but I don't focus on crying day and night because I know that right now that's not helpful. Right now, if I spend my life crying, what more could I want? There are days when I would like to, right? Not to get up from bed, not to know anything about anyone. But it can't be because I am the only one she trusts. I know that I am the only one who can make her have justice and not just stay like this. Nothing more. This, well, I tell her I have a table where I have her candle and that and her photo, and I start to clean it and I say, "Oh, my love. You see, I told you so much that, well, you should go." That she would exaggerate also where she was going and things that sometimes, well, sometimes she made decisions like any young person, right? I tell my love, do you see? So much that I told you to take care of yourself, that you focus on your children, on your operations. I always notice. A day before, I was watching Devani's case in my room, and she came in. She asked me, "What are you watching?" And I told her, "Look, daughter, I'm watching what happened to this girl." I told her the poor thing, what happened to her, and it was already done. She returned, stayed in my room briefly, watched it, and said, "Oh, poor thing, right?" I replied, "Yes. Do you think so, daughter?" I told her that's why she has to take good care of herself. I told her I don't want anything to happen to you. I don't even know what. I told her I would not do evil, not even God's. But I don't want to because where is this person going to look for the boy she was going out with? Where is she going to the town where he lives? She would get off at a crossroads and walk towards the house. I would say, "Daughter, don't take such risks. Imagine, don't do that to me that I now have to go looking for you." A week before, here was the case of a family, a woman and two men. The husband and a relative went to the state of Sinaloa and returned, and they were kidnapped and killed. They were violated. They were found just as dismembered in pits. News came out and everything. She was my comadre and her godmother for First Communion. I told her, "Look, daughter, what happened to your godmother, Laura?" I told her I don't want something like that to happen to her. I said, "Imagine, take care of yourself, my daughter. Value your children and your life, my love." She said, "I couldn't." "No, no, mommy. If you think so, I'm not going anymore. If he wants to come see me, let him come." We talked a lot like this. I told her, "Dedicate yourself to your children, daughter. Dedicate yourself to your children. Let a good boy come into your life, but let him come alone who loves you with your children. That you make a beautiful family with respect, a home, because that's what your children deserve, right? A mom and a dad, a little house where they form a home, where you form a family. Don't risk going off like that to wherever you're going, that you get off at a crossroads and something could happen to you." Over there at the entrance to Nayarit, extremely dangerous individuals are interfering in their business and disputes. These people, well, they are involving people who have nothing to do with it and who, well, serve their interests, right? I told him not to take risks because I don't want something bad to happen to him. Then he told me, "No, no, mom." He said, "Don't worry." He said, "I'm not going to go a day earlier, I tell you." We were talking, and when I started cleaning his picture, I said, "You see, daughter, I don't know. For some reason, we had that talk. We spent a lot of time talking, but I never imagined this outcome when I told him I don't want to be chasing after you like this." I always told him that way because I was very fearful. But I swear, I never imagined that something like this would really happen. I mean, I told him in the way that, well, so that he would be careful, so that he would take more care, so that he would see that there are many bad people. Yes, each one of them doesn't care about human life. But I'm telling you, never, 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 never. I swear to you, me, I never thought that something like this would really happen to him. Me, sometimes I know that she still sometimes is very resigned. Maybe to leave here in the house or with her children, her child, her 6-year-old child. Before I alerted them that she was missing, she was with her grandfather, with my daughter's father. We've been separated for 25 years. He has his wife, his family, and he takes him there on weekends. That child woke up in the early morning screaming, crying, and shouting, get her out of there. And they still didn't know. Yes, she had that connection with him. Ever since that day, the boy wakes up crying and screaming for his mom every single day due to nightmares. My daughter is very uneasy, angry, and upset because she knows she could have taken better care of herself. She knows she shouldn't have been distracted, perhaps, or have trusted that person so much. Unfortunately, there's no turning back now. Unfortunately, there's something here that can't be crawled back and nothing's going to return. Irene is never going to be with us. Never, never. That's something that was taken from us, and it's something we have to learn to live with. I want young girls, everyone who see these cases to not take it lightly, to really take care of themselves. We have to take better care of each other. This gender violence is happening more and more and more and more often. It's not possible that you have to take care of your partner. It's not possible that from a friend or a known person, if you have to know that you can't trust anyone, but you can trust no one. The situation is getting out of control due to the lack of severe and fair penalties from the authorities. The reality is that people are not afraid to kill because they know the consequences are merely a light sentence. It's not possible that more families are going to be going through this, that we continue to go through this. It's something I don't know. I don't know how to explain it, how I feel, how we feel. Sometimes I think that I'm still in shock, that I'm shocked. I feel an immense desire, I tell you sometimes, not to get up from bed, not to know anything. You don't know? How would I give? I would have changed my place for hers, but you can't. None of that is possible. I only ask God to be fair and for the authorities to do their job. It's true, nothing else is unique, even if it doesn't give us anything back. It doesn't matter to Irene, but it shouldn't end like this. He shouldn't get away with it. That person, that Carlos Raul who did this to him, it shouldn't be for him. He simply took the life of someone who was in his way and left children behind. He left 2 orphans, me, his siblings, my mom, his dad, all of us who loved her. She knew a lot of people, but I tell you, she wasn't one for friendships, not the kind to enjoy visits. No, we're not like that, but many people appreciated her. A lot of people don't mess with anyone anymore. She didn't mess with anyone. Well, not with anyone. She didn't have a bad relationship with anyone. She didn't fight with anyone. No, she didn't deserve this. It's not fair. And I hope that I have the opportunity to confront, to see him face to face. I want to see if I think that maybe in those days, the drug, or however it may be, however they gave it to me, maybe it didn't allow him to have that clarity to realize the size or magnitude of what he had done. I'm sure that with the passing of each day in the place where he is, it's not the same. He uses things differently compared to how he did before. I think he may be finally realizing the gravity of his actions, seeing the magnitude of his actions. Hopefully, that stays in his mind, and hopefully it won't let him live and won't leave him for a moment. If you have remorse for what you have done, let him regret. I want him to regret, and that I don't know what It is. I don't know why he could have done that to my daughter, honestly, in that way. I just want those kids to be okay, that they keep going to therapy, that they learn to live, because sometimes I don't know how to answer them. I don't have those words in my mind, because that was something that I tell you didn't cross my mind. It's something I never thought I would say to her. I don't have the words to comfort them, to make them feel better. I don't know what to say when the child asks me things, when he asks me when his mom is going to come, or when is he going to see her. Or when he says my mom has already died, or my mom told me that when I grew up I was going to be a doctor, that I should study, and when I grew up and became a doctor she was going to leave, and you said she was going to die, but it's not true, she's not here anymore. What do I tell him? What do I tell him? My mom is 6 years old. I don't cry in front of them or anything. I try all the time of her mom who is in heaven. Look, it's a little angel who watches over us every day. She always sleeps with your brother and accompanies you to school. You can't see her. Sometimes you'll be able to see her, sometimes not, but she will always take care of you. Always, always, even if you grow up and become big, she will be with you. I tell him. I told him the other time, do you miss your mom? He says, no. I say, no, my love. He asks, Mommy, Mommy Nancy. Is it Mommy Nancy? I say that so he won't forget her soon, but I tell him, no, my love, you don't have to forget her. Your mom always has to be with you in your heart. That's not a bad thing. He believes that since his mother has passed away, he must forget her. This I want, on the contrary, to encourage that in them, that she is always present, that she is always in the heart of all of us. Obviously, she is. And I would like to know if in some way she comforts him or is going to comfort him. That this person is, well, is or is going to have, well, I don't know, a punishment, right? I don't think it's something that can comfort anyone, I tell you, but well, I just sincerely wish that this person pays, that they really pay for what they did to us as a family. I realize how in a second your life can change, how in a second everything changes. When she tells me, Mom, I'm leaving as I see myself, never, never, Pepe, it never happened to me. It never crossed my mind that she was in danger or could be in danger. Neither of us felt that way. Yeah, and she casually said goodbye, telling her mom she was leaving and God bless. She then left with the driver already waiting for her. I already asked God a lot. Every day, because he gives me that resignation, because it takes away that feeling I have of anger, of hatred towards that person. I want that. My children have justice, nothing more, that they're healthy, happy children, and that they learn to live. Well, with this, that unfortunately touched us as a family. And while we are just waiting, I'm waiting for the hearings to see how everything is going, to see which prosecutor's office is going to handle all of this.
If you are part of an injustice, a crime, or you are a searching mother and you would like to use this channel to publicize your case, to have a wider reach, can you send me an email at pepemisterio.com.mx? Find me on Facebook as Pepe Misterio and on Instagram as Pepe Misterio Mexico or Pepe Misterio Documentaries. Whether you're here in Monterrey, we can meet, or if not, I can go or even do it by video call like this time.